What's the story, Morning Glory? What is the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me once again for this review of Love After Lockup Season 4, Episode 34, Ditched and Dismissed. So let's start off with Monique and Derek. So they are in their hotel room. It's the morning after their first night together. And of course, you know, like it always is on this show, the first night that the couples are together, it is fire, it is magic, it is the best that either one of them has ever had. It's the best that anybody on earth has ever had. It's just, you know, fireworks and honey, it's always good, right? Which I'm finding it hard to believe. The more I watch this show, and I've been watching this show for years, I just don't believe it. I think about 75% of these people are absolutely lying about how good it was their first night together. Especially the ones where the guys have been in prison. I'm like, okay, these men have been gone. They've been away from women, some of them for years, and you're going to tell me that it was, you know, it was like that, like, you know, multiple rounds all night long. Nobody got tired. Nobody fell asleep. Yeah, I don't believe it. So they're laying in the bed together, and Derek asks Monique, you know, how was it for her? And of course, you know, she tells him everything that he wants to hear. He tells her everything that she wants to hear. But in Monique's confessional, she says that out of 10, she would have given him a 7 or an 8, which I'm thinking that's pretty high, considering that he just got released from prison. He hasn't been with a female in a long time, and they don't really know each other. And this is their very first time together. And I'm also thinking about the logistics of it, you know, the drastic difference in sizes. If she gave him a 7 or 8 out of 10, I'm thinking he did pretty good. So she also said that maybe because he's so young, there was not a lot of foreplay. I guess, you know, older women need you know, they need time to get, you know, revved up. They're not just ready to go like that. So she said there wasn't a lot of foreplay, but I'm like, girl, he just got out of prison. Okay. He ain't got time for all that. He's just trying to get to where he's going. So Derek says in his confessional that he's never had a BBW. Now he thinks that BBW means, big black woman, but it actually means big, beautiful woman. So somebody needs to let him know. And so he says that he's been with, you know, thick women. He's been with tall women. So this ain't nothing new for him. And he just wants to take care of business whenever he's in the bedroom. So he's here to please. He is here to please the ladies. So Derek gives me the impression that when it comes to lovemaking and intimacy, like, he doesn't care who it is. He has a job to do, and that job is to satisfy. He doesn't care who it is. He doesn't care who you are, what you look like, what you got going on. His job is to satisfy. Like, that's the impression that he gives me. Like, he really enjoys it. Like, to him, it's like a profession. Like, he really just wants to do a good job and impress. So I forgot to mention in my last review that when he came out of prison and he saw Monique for the first time, he had said that she was bigger than what he expected. And I'm really curious to know how big or how small did he think she was? Did he think that she was like a 12, 14? Or did he know that she was maybe 28, 30 or higher? Like, I'm really curious to know exactly how big he thought she was going to be. But anyways, I guess we'll never know. So while they're in the bed together, the phone that she bought him, this brand new phone that she bought him, it starts ringing, and he didn't answer it right away. And so Monique was like, answer the phone, answer the phone. So he answers the phone, and whoever was on the other line didn't say anything. They just kind of sat there. I'm thinking that they were waiting for a signal. Like, whoever this person is, obviously Derek knows them because he gave them the phone number, and they probably had an understanding that, okay, when you call and I answer, you know, wait for the signal. If I give you the signal, then you can start talking. If I don't give you the signal, don't say nothing. That's how it came across to me. So the producers asked him in his confessional, so who was it on the phone? And he was like, well, I don't know. You know, he was acting real suspicious about it. And then he says it is somebody that he knows that wanted to see him, but he couldn't go see them because he was with Monique. So I'm only going to assume that it was a woman. So after that, they're getting ready to go out. And I must say, I thought Monique looked, you know, pretty nice. I thought her in her white dress, I thought she looked really nice, especially like the top part of the dress. I thought it fit her really, really well. So he got on his Gucci. He is ready to go. He got on his Gucci. He got on his Cartier watch, his $30,000 Cartier watch that his brother was keeping for him until he got released. And I thought to myself, that is a good brother, because I know some people, even they don't give a damn if it's the brother, the cousin, the friend, the neighbor, whoever. You give them a $30,000 watch, that watch would have been gone. Okay, it would have been gone. It would have been sold. And then you come out of prison, they'll tell you that their house got robbed or something. So as they're getting ready to go out, he's telling her to take pictures of him. Like, he wanted her to keep that camera going. He was like, take a picture, take a picture, take a picture. So they get ready to go to dinner, and they get to the restaurant, and he is just so happy. And I know he's happy because he's finally free. He's finally released. He is just so happy to be out and about and free. And, anyways, so he orders the most expensive items on the menu. And I was like, when is this ever going to end? He ordered Alaskan king crab. He ordered lobster. He ordered the lamb tenderloins or something. The rack of lamb. That's what it was. It was a rack of lambs. He ordered all kinds of stuff. The most expensive stuff on the menu is what he got. And so when the food came, he starts feeding her, right? Which was giving, like, I don't know what they're called. Are they called feeders? Men who have a fetish for plus size women, and it's like a turn on for them to watch them eat. It's a turn on for them to feed them food. That's the kind of vibe that he was giving, because he was insisting on feeding her the food. And it got to a point where she got frustrated, and she was like, I'm not a child, stop feeding me. But he really enjoyed feeding her. And I was like, maybe that's why he's so enamored by her. And he's willing to like, he wants to be, like, it seems like to me, he really wants to be with this woman. And maybe because he's just got a fetish for big women. Maybe he's a feeder or a chubby chaser or whatever they're called. I don't know if any of that is the politically correct term, so I apologize if it's not. So, as they're eating the food, as we're having dinner, a guy walks over, and we're not there yet. So he's still trying to get into something, right? So they're about over with dinner, and he wants to go out and he wants to do something else. And Monique is like, no, she goes, no, I'm getting tipsy. In actuality, she's just getting sleepy and tired. So he still wants the night to continue. He wants to have fun. He wants to go to the casinos. He was like, can we just even take a walk? And I'm like, Derek, she's got physical limitations, but I thought that was a great idea, because she does want to lose weight. She is working on losing weight, but I guess after you've had a full meal, anyways, he wanted to take a walk. She didn't want to take a walk. She wanted to go back to the room and go to sleep. So a friend walks over to the table. One of Derek's homeboys walks over to the table. They exchange phone numbers, and I guess they wanted to meet up later. So Monique takes Derek's phone and deletes the friend's number and tells Derek, you're not going anywhere tonight. And so he doesn't understand. He's like, what is going on? Why are you being like this? The bill comes, y'all. It is, and I knew that it was going to be this amount. I knew it. $500 for that dinner. And she was miserable throughout it all. She had to pay $500 for that bill. So when the waiter came to bring the bill, he takes it and he gives it to her. And he goes, so do you want to take care of that? Or what? Like, what's the other option, Derek? You're going to pay for this? So they go outside, and when they're outside, he runs into some more of his friends. And so he's chopping it up with his friends. Monique is already in the car. She is already pissed off. She is ready to get the hell out of there. And she's watching Derek interact with his friends, and she's just getting so aggravated. So after he's done talking to his friends, he comes back in the car. He looks at her, and he can tell that there's something wrong. And so he keeps asking her, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? And she starts crying. And he says that Monique's issue is that she feels like she is losing control of him. Like, she's seeing him interacting with his friends. I guess she feels like he's slowly slipping away from her, because when he was in prison, she knew exactly where he was. She knew exactly, when he would be able to talk, when he wouldn't be able to talk. She had more control. over him when he was behind bars. Now that he's out and about, she's losing that control, and it's like scaring the hell out of her. So when they get back to the hotel room, she gets in the bed. She's already in the bed, laying down in the bed, and he's still up. He still wants to go do something. And so they're having a conversation, and they're talking about how, she tells him, well, if you leave, don't bother coming back, because he wants to go to the casinos to go gamble. So she tells him, if you walk out that door, don't bother coming back. And he's like, Monique, don't be like that. And so then he says, when I was in prison at 12 o'clock, you were calling me. You wanted to get on the phone and talk to me. So how come now it's not even 12 o'clock? You're ready to call it quits. But when I was in prison, you wanted to talk all night long. You had the energy to talk all night long. Well, look, that's just talking, Derek. You're wanting her to get up and go to a casino and walk around and do all this. That's a bit much. So she finally agrees to go. I guess she feels like the only way that I'm going to be able to really control him is I'm going to have to keep up with him. So she finally decides to get up and go, and she is pissed off. He's trying to talk to her. She's like, shut up, Derek. Don't talk to me, Derek. So I wonder how that night's going to go, because she was very, 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 very upset. Monique, you know what it is. Girl, don't play dumb. You know exactly what it is. You know that once this man got released from prison, it was going to be a completely different story. He's young. He's got stuff to do, places to go, people to see, girl. He ain't got time to be laying up in the bed all day with you. Monique, you knew what it was. You knew what it was. I don't know what to tell you. You're going to have to find the energy, get you some Monster drinks, whatever you got to do. You need to find the energy to keep up with this, this young man. Moving on to Michael and Justine. So they're at the little, they had the party, the little family gathering for Michael, because this is his second day out from prison. And Justine just wanted it to be the family. So when his homeboy Mocha arrives, Justine is not happy about it. But lo and behold, the family was really happy to see Mocha. Everybody was excited to see Mocha, Mocha. But Justine, she wasn't having it. But what can she do? So then there's a scene where Justine is talking to Michael's mother, and the mother asks Justine, so how was y'all's first night together? And Justine was like, you want to know about your son like that? And then the mom says, well, he's going to tell me anyway. And I was just like, oh, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. This is crazy. I don't know what kind of relationship Michael and his mom got going on, but you're crossing the line. That ma'am, you are crossing no. That is none of your business. You're his mother. You don't need to know about that. I don't think you want to know about that. I don't even know why you would ask someone about that. Like, what did you expect Justine to even say? Oh, he rocked my world. He blew my mind. He blew my back out. Like, and then the mother is like, ooh, girl, did he really? Like, what? No, And then for her to say, well, he's going to tell me anyway. Michael, no, sir. No. If this is how close they are, then Justine she's going to be in for an extremely rude awakening. So Michael and his dad are talking, and Michael asks his dad, how come you only saw me, like once or twice the whole entire time that I was locked up? And the father said, well, after the first time I saw you, I cried for 6 months. It took me 6 months to recover, and I just couldn't stand to see you behind bars. It was really, really hard for me. So I guess Michael now understands why his dad didn't come more often. They hug it out. They cry it out. Everything is good. So Michael's mother, now she's having another conversation with Justine, and she tells Justine, I think she asked Justine something about like, what kind of a stepmom are you going to be, or how are you going to handle his kids or whatever. And, Justine said whatever she said, like she's going to, be a part of their lives, and she's here to stay and whatever else. So then the mother says, well, I don't want you to be with, I don't want you to treat my grandchildren or my granddaughter the way you treat your daughter, because Justine allowed her daughter to get a tattoo and to get a belly button piercing. And so the grandmother was like, yeah, I don't want you doing that kind of stuff with my grandkids. And so, of course, Justine saw this and started being very, very judgmental. So, then everything just went completely left after that. So Justine and the mom, they get into an argument, right? They're going back and forth. And Justine, she's very expressive when she's like really passionate about what she's talking about. She gets very expressive with her language, with her hand gestures. And so the mom was like, what's all of this? What's all this with the hand gestures? You need to respect me. You need to respect me. And I'm thinking to myself, that's true, Mom. She does need to respect you, of course, because you are now her mother-in-law. But for the longest time, they have been friends and co-workers. So they've kind of been like on this equal footing. Now she's her mother-in-law. And I don't think Justine can just switch it just like that and just, just basically treat this woman like she's some type of a parent figure for her, because they were friends and they were co-workers. That's how they knew each other. And that's how she met Mike, through his mom. So Justine's going on and on and on. And then at some point, the daughter comes and she confronts Justine, telling Justine, you don't talk to my mother like that. You need to respect my mother. Justine ain't got time for none of that. So she tells the daughter off. She tells the mother off. And so then Michael's got to come in and intervene. So Michael is like, we don't need all of this. Y'all need to squash this. But Michael sees Justine as, this is my wife now. She's my priority. So she is the woman in my life. So she comes before all of y'all, comes before mom, comes before sister, comes before all of y'all, because she's the wife now. And so the whole situation, the whole gathering, family gathering, whatever, it was just completely ruined after this. So the mother says, just like I brought them together, I can take them apart. And even Michael had said that his mom is a little bit too involved in his relationships. Michael, you need to handle that. You need to handle that, because you're just going to have a string of baby mamas and nothing substantial in your life, nothing more permanent in your life, because your mother is going to be running all these women away, because Justine and Michael, they're trying to have a baby. For all we know, she could be pregnant right now. And here's the mother now trying to run her off. I mean, you brought them together and now you're trying to run them off. Like, what is going on here? You want to do something for your son by giving him a woman. And then I guess after he's done with her in the physical sense, the mom is like, okay, he needs to move on to the next. I don't understand. You brought them together. Now you're trying to tear them apart over something that hasn't even happened yet, because Justine has not taken your granddaughter to go get a tattoo or a piercing. You don't know if Justine is going to do anything that is offhand or negative or wrong or bad with Michael's children. Nothing has even happened yet. This is the second day of him being released from prison. Nothing has even happened yet. And before Michael got released, Justine was having a relationship with his kids. And I wonder if she had any kind of complaints then. Now that your son is out, all of a sudden you're trying to find something to fight about with his wife. Like, why? You brought them together. You hooked them up. I don't get it. You had no problem with her up until the time you decided to marry her. I just don't understand. So the mom just wanted to start an argument over nothing, because Justine hasn't done anything wrong to these kids. She's never talked about taking the girl to get a tattoo or a piercing or anything else. So Justine wants to defend her daughter. So she tells him, well, my daughter, she's a straight A student. She's the captain of the cheerleading team. Just because she's got a tattoo, it don't mean nothing. And I don't know. But the mom and the sister, they're too involved. They are too involved. Make a big deal about it once something has actually happened. Until then, just enjoy the moment and try to keep the peace. Moving on to Nathan and Skylar. Skylar is finally released. So we get a little bit of history of Skylar. Growing up, she grew up in a very privileged, wealthy family. She said that she lived in a $1 million neighborhood, but when she became a teenager, she started to rebel, and she was hanging out at the trap houses. She was smoking weed. At 19, she was popping pills. Then she got into fentanyl, and her fentanyl habit was $600 to $700 a day. So she was truly living on the wild side. So the mother blames Nathan for Skylar going back to prison the last time, because the last time that she was released, she was hanging out with Nathan, missed her curfew for the halfway house, and they sent her straight back to prison. They didn't play. So the mother thinks that was completely Nathan's fault, even though, you got to put some blame on Skylar too. It's her life that she needs to be responsible for. So now here we go again. She comes out, her and Nathan go and get coffee. They go to a coffee shop, right? And as they're drinking the coffee, Nathan's mood is like slowly changing from the way he was when she was first released. I don't know what was going on with Nathan. So he accidentally spilled coffee on his shirt, and it was like no big deal. It's like a couple of drops of coffee on his shirt, but for whatever reason, it really affected him. So he goes out to his truck, and no, first before he did that, when he spilled the coffee on himself, I didn't even think she noticed. So he said something about it, and so she looks at his shirt and she was like, okay, fine, like whatever, who cares? And so then he's like, well, what's going on with this cup? Is there like a hole in this cup? Like he was getting mad at the coffee cup, like trying to figure out why he was spilling coffee on himself. So he goes to his truck, he changes, and then he comes back. And when he came back in, his whole entire mood was like completely different. Like he did a complete 180. So he's sitting there, and all he's doing is just staring her down, not even talking. He's just staring at her. And he sucked down that coffee really, really, really fast. So as she's still drinking hers, his is already gone. He's just sitting there staring at her. And so she's looking at him like, what is going on? Like, what? Or are you just sitting there staring at me? And he said nothing. So I don't know if he was having an urge to use and he was trying to fight that urge, and that's why he was acting all weird. I don't know what was going on with him. They get to the house. So they're at his grandmother's house. This really creepy, Halloweenish looking, haunted house looking, kind of old house from like the 1900s or something. So they go upstairs, and I guess the room that they're going to be sleeping in, it was a complete mess. It looked like a dump. So he has to start cleaning stuff up. He's like carrying mattresses out. It was a hot mess in there, literally, because the AC unit wasn't even hooked up. So she was like, okay, what's going on here? She's not going to sleep in that room. She's like, I cannot stay in this room. This is a nightmare. And I'm thinking to myself, Nathan, instead of running around buying candles, trying to find the right candle for her, you should have been cleaning this damn room up. Like, what is going on? But he started feeling a little bit better. Moving on from there, let's get into Gabby and Chris. Not much is happening with Gabby and Chris. So Gabby is upset with Chris because she sees on the phone account that he's been talking to a whole lot of people. So there's a whole bunch of incoming, outgoing calls, a lot of activity on his phone, and she's not happy. She's assuming the worst, that he's cheating on her. So she confronts him about that. She's like, why are you calling so many people? He's like, these are my people, my friends. I got to get in touch with them. And so she thinks that he's cheating on her. He denies. He's like, I'm not talking to a female. It's nothing like that. Whatever female that you see on the phone account, that was my hairdresser, the person who braids my hair. I'm not doing anything wrong. So she's feeling some kind of way. And so she is supposed to go pick him up and bring him back to Jersey, to her place. I guess he's done with his time at the halfway house and he's going to be paroled to her house in Jersey. So she's supposed to go get him. She says she's not going to go get him. She says, I'm not going to come pick you up. You need to find your way over here. So he meets up with his mom and his brother in New York. And his brother looks just like him. It was uncanny. I couldn't even tell who the hell I was looking at. They look so much alike. But anyway, the brother's a little bit shorter. So he meets up with his brother and his mom in front of the halfway house because Gabby was supposed to pick him up from there. Gabby said she wasn't coming. So now they got to take the train to wherever they were going. So they take the train and he gets off they take the train and then drops him off wherever in New York, and then he gets on the train to go to Jersey. So the mom is telling him, are you sure you really want to do this? Because you can just cut her loose, because we don't see it for you and Gabby. She is not good for you. And so Chris was like, I'm not understanding why everybody doesn't like Gabby. And the mother and the brother both said, well, you don't know the Gabby that we know, because she's one way with you and she's a completely different way with the public. So you don't know the Gabby that we know. And we're telling you that she's not good for you and you need to cut her loose. He don't want to hear that. So then he arrives in Jersey. He's at the train station and he's waiting for Gabby to come pick him up. And at first it seemed like she was going to come pick him up. So as he's waiting and waiting and waiting, she calls him about 40 minutes later and she goes, you know what? I changed my mind. I'm not going to pick you up. You need to find your way over here on your own. While this is going on, she's still telling us that she's got secrets and, she's going to have to reveal all these secrets to Chris. And Gabby was just acting weird in this episode. Like, how are you not going to go pick up your husband from the train station to bring him home because you think he might be cheating. I don't know. He might be. I have no idea. He might be cheating on her, but she doesn't have any concrete proof as far as we know. So, Gabby, you are just so wrong and so foul for leaving your husband at the train station like that and telling him you need to find your way over here. This is not how a marriage works. You wanted to marry this man so damn bad. This is not how a marriage works. Moving on to Eris and Cameron. Not much going on there. Little George Jefferson got him some. They did whatever they did. Of course, it was, you know how it is, the best that anybody has ever had in the history of the world. And it was perfect, and it was this, and it was that. Okay, we get it. So then after that, she drops him off at the halfway house, and that was it, you know? And so she just wants him to be able to go back to Florida with her. And I don't know if they're going to make that happen or not. He's ready to get back into the studio to start making music, start making videos. They had a little discussion about his music videos. You know, she wants him to keep it PG. And he's like, I'm not going to keep it PG. I'm going to have butts bouncing and half-naked girls running around. I'm not going to keep it PG. My videos are going to be lit. And so she's like, okay, that's all cool, but you know, you can't cross that boundary. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, not much going on with Eris and Cameron. And that's my review. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please do not forget to rate the video. If you like this content, go ahead and subscribe, and I will definitely talk to you later.